Welcome to Kidmin Backstage, the place where we talk about kids ministry and take a peek behind the scenes. We try to share a little bit of what we've learned that works for us and some of our failures so you can avoid them. We release a new episode every Friday, and this is your backstage pass to see the magic or disaster that happens behind the scenes of our kids ministry. I'm your host, Gabe Baker, and today I am joined by Brother Matthew Critcher. How's it going?
Good.
I'm glad we got to fit this in.
Yeah, me too.
A little bit different timing on today's, but I know you got a busy schedule too. So
yeah, it's busy times.
Yeah.
Busy times.
Well, what are we talking about today?
Unnoticed influence.
Unnoticed influence. So I used to talk to my kids about this, when they were young teenagers, but we don't always notice, or we don't always know who is noticing, I guess, us,
Yeah.
but we don't always know who's watching us. And so it could be a child in the back of the room, a teenager in the hallway, whatever. You don't always know who is watching. And so it's important, the small things that we do, good or bad, are noticed and can have a huge impact, can even alter the course of somebody's life, a child that you have a major impact on. And so, Brother Booker and I recently, we were riding in the car and we were talking about, he was talking about a camping trip years and years ago. He was a kid with Brother Bo and I think their family or something. And, he was saying some of the things that just had a huge impact on him that he's pretty certain Brother Bo would not even remember at all. And I was relating, I was actually much older. I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I had an opportunity to ride a fairly long drive from the airport with Brother Ballestero, Marty Ballestero. And just the conversation that we had, I asked him some questions, and it was so neat. And I don't know if he even would remember, but it made such an impact on me, and so I think, and it was both of those examples are positive examples.
Yeah.
And so it just goes to show, I think, that sometimes you don't realize the impression that you're making.
Oh, man.
And so to be conscious of that,
So true. And I feel almost with kids, it's greater.
Yes.
Because they're in their molding stage of life.
Right. And
so they're seeing, they're watching, and they're trying to copy and become like some of those people. So funny story. It starts even with little babies, little kids, 1 or 2 years old. And funny story about that is we have a little baby in our church. I don't know if he's 1 or 2 or something. Mm-hmm. And the mom came up to me and was saying, "My son is clapping just like you now at our home." I'm wow. Really? And she described how he was clapping. I didn't even realize I clapped like that. I'm like, and he's like 1 year old, and she said, "Yeah, when he's at home, we're listening to music. He's over there clapping his hands like you."
Awesome.
And I'm like, oh my word, that's hilarious. And so, even the youngest of kids can notice things you do that you don't even realize you do. And so
we hope it's good.
Yeah, it's like so. It's being aware, that people watch how you act and
I'll tell you, this was a little bit of a wake up call for me. But this has been about maybe 2 years ago. There was a boy in our Sunday school that now he does have some issues that are kind of medically related, I guess. Yeah. That we could use as a little bit of an excuse or reason, but wasn't well behaved. Just put it that way, in Sunday school, and had to be taken out a lot. Yeah. And I actually talked to his mom, and we had like a little system that we would use and see, okay, let's see how long he can last. Yeah. And then sometimes we'd take him out and he wasn't like in trouble, quote unquote. But I would tell him, "You're not in trouble. This is about as much as you can take. So we're going to go You know, we're going to go to mom. And so anyway, I worked with him a little bit, but it was funny. She told me that they went to the barber, and he doesn't, or at the time, he does now better, but he didn't talk very well at all. Like, he didn't talk hardly at all. He just didn't talk. But when he did, he was very difficult to understand. And his mom even, it was like, she understood him obviously the best, but it was just very few words. But they went to the barber, and he sat in the chair and everything, and he was saying something to the barber, and she was like, what are you saying? You know, and he wanted his hair cut like Brother Baker's.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, man.
That makes you feel good.
Yeah. I was like, wow, okay.
That's cool. That's cool.
This kid is always naughty and stuff, but he's got a heart, and he notices, you know.
Yeah.
So our first point is you're always leading even when you don't know it. You're always leading. And this is what I would try to tell my teenage kids, is that, because they would be like, and it was kind of like, you were born into this family, you have me as a dad, and so just, you know, maybe you don't like it, maybe you do, but this is your responsibility. People are looking at you.
Oh yeah.
And so, and like pastor's kids, it's even, you know, more so, that pressure, I guess. But people are watching you. And so kids notice, like I wrote, every action preaches a message. So kids notice how you respond to frustration or difficulty, or how you treat others, how you honor your commitments. And so, and here's the key, and this goes back to like that Brother Bo example with Brother Booker, is we might not notice this.
Yeah.
But sometimes the kids notice forever. It sticks with them forever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I a while back we did our spy theme. I was walking, it was like on a Wednesday night, and so my younger son, Ashton, he's 8 now. He was probably 7 back then, but he'll bring walkie-talkies to church, and him and his friends would be in their walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
So I was walking across to get something out of the middle building, and it was after church, and they're out playing stuff, and I hear one of these little boys, I don't even know which one it was, in the walkie-talkie, and he's like, "I'm over on the west side."
Oh my word. Wow. That's hilarious. I think you're one of the few people that says the west side.
Yeah. So I knew you got that from
that
Sunday school, you know. So,
oh my word.
So yeah, we don't remember, but sometimes they will
pick
remember
up on
those
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little motions and little things. And so that goes, like, if you think about worship, you know, and you can see it, like if you watch, like especially at a conference, sometimes you'll see these little kids, and they're stretching their hands as high as they can, and they're worshiping, or they're crying in the altar. You know that that's what their parents do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, very rarely do kids do that on their own. I mean, there's exceptions, of course, but when you're at a conference and they're church kids, you know it's because mom and dad do that. You know, they're following the example.
So good. So good. Yeah, it's a big responsibility, knowing that, you know, what we can do, or what we do, can lead kids in a positive direction, but can also lead them in a negative direction. And so,
and the thing is like I put a note that eyes are everywhere, and so sometimes kids are noticing you, and you don't know it, and you don't ever know it. Like, they don't say anything, but they see, and they're watching. And so I talk about all the time, we've talked about it even, about like, this is just what we do, and not to be so worried about the end goal. Yeah. Like the numbers, the attendance numbers, how many got the Holy Ghost, all those things. I mean, these are things we want to track, but don't let it get discouraging for you. Just know that this is what we do. We clean the toilet every Sunday because this is what we do. It's like brushing our teeth. Yeah. This is just what we do. This is how we do it. We know it's the will of God. Well, I think to look at it the same way almost is like, it's not just like, okay, the spotlight's on, and now let's set the example. We're on stage. Let's set the example that we want to. Yes, we'd want to do that, but basically, this is what we do. Yeah. And so we should be caught doing good. You know,
that's good.
It should be, it's the unnoticed influence. We should be caught like, oh, that's how they are. You know, this it's like, oh, they're praying before service. You know, I mean, just whatever the example is. And so that example, that's going to outlive any kind of lesson we teach.
Oh, for sure.
Any kind of words we say. I mean, that's, you know, they say actions speak louder than words. This is a true example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, when kids see that, you know.
Oh, yeah. Reminds me of how Paul talks about the church and says that you are living epistles read of all men. You know, people they see you, they read you.
Yes.
They can tell really who you are through your actions,
right,
and how you conduct yourself. And so, you know, for me, it's like, well, I want the story I put on to be a good story.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if I'm an epistle read of people, of kids that are watching me, you know, I want to be an epistle that is a good epistle.
Yeah.
That they look, they read, and they're like, wow, I want to be, you know, I want to be that kind of person that when people look at me, I'm not meaning this in any, I guess, braggadocious way at all. But when they look at me, they're like, hey, I want to be more like that in a positive way. Or I want to be, that makes me want to be more like God. That makes me want to pray more. That makes it, I don't want to be the person that's like, oh, well, we probably don't need to pray as much because Brother Matthew isn't over there praying. Or we reading our Bible probably isn't that important because Brother Matthew over there, he doesn't read his Bible. But I'll be that person that.
Yeah, we don't want to be somebody's cop-out.
Yeah. We want to be that person that helps push people to be closer to God through the example that we live.
Oh, yeah. That's so good.
So,
oh, man. Yeah, I had somebody recently, like this year, like months ago, recently tell me, I was talking about somebody that I admired as a kid.
Yeah.
And recently told me that I was that person for them. And so what, you know, it made me feel good or whatever, but it's also like, man, I want people to see, you know, so like there's a skit that we do at our Christmas event. Joey and I do this, brother Joey Boggs. We do this skit, God's Chisel. And one of the lines is, so I play the part of, you know, God or whatever. And so, and one of the lines is, he's like trying to stop me, you know, because it's hurting. I'm chiseling. And he's like, I think I'm starting to look pretty good. I said, okay, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? He's like, I see me. And he's all just happy. And then I say, okay, then I need to keep chiseling until you and everyone else sees me. And so that what you just said is exactly what we want. That's our responsibility. We want others to see Jesus through us. You know, and it's and on the flip side, on the bad side, when you do something, let's say that you have a visitor come to church, and we're getting off topic of Sunday school a little bit, but if you have a visitor come to church, this is a scary thought, especially in a larger church, is you could have Joe Schmo come up to them and say something rude to them about the way they're dressed or whatever, like, hey, you shouldn't wear shorts to church or whatever, just say something. And then they can go away and say, I'm not going back to a Pentecostal church because that's what Pentecostals are like.
Oh, man.
My daughter works with somebody that had experience almost like that. And I think she's going to come to our church, but she went to a Pentecostal church and had that experience. And my daughter's like, you can come dress any way you want to our church because she wears pants or whatever. And so in that vein, it's like I have to remember that when they look at me, especially if you're in any kind of leadership at all, which we are when we're in a ministry, especially, like even more so, then what do they see when they look at me? Because they think, when they see what I do, that's what they think this church is all about. I mean, that's a weight, right? Oh, yeah. That's what they think that this apostolic movement is all about. They look at, I mean, and it's not like because I'm anything, but when they walk in, they don't know, and they say, "Oh, well, you were on the platform So you are a representation.
Yeah, for sure.
Of this church.
For sure.
And so if I'm in my jeans and on a Tuesday and chewing out somebody at the bank.
Man.
Oh, man.
Well, the Bible doesn't tell us to witness. It tells us to be a witness.
Oh, that's good.
It's a difference between just doing, and this ties in what you were saying earlier, is doing versus being.
Yes.
Yes, it's not just we just push a button and, all right, we're going to be a witness where we want to be.
Here we go.
But it's a being. We're walking it out. We're living it. We're being a witness. With these kids, we're not just Sunday school teachers. We're not just teaching them Sunday school. We are Sunday school teachers. We are walking it. We're living it. We are
out.
Setting the example. We're in a sense, it'd be like us walking through the snow and those kids see our footsteps and they're trying to put their feet in those footsteps. Where is our footsteps going to lead them?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big weight to it.
Yeah, and we kind of stomped all over this, but our point number 2 is our impact can be good or bad. And so I think that, when we're unintentional negativity, that can last. So when we're, harsh or, sarcastic or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying we have to be little angels. I'm not saying that. But we have to be careful. And we have to realize with children that like a snarky comment might roll off of somebody's back, but with kids, it's not. We got to qualify. We got to be careful.
Well, it reminds me of we just had Brother Ben Weeks preach for us here at our conference, and then this morning service, and he was bringing up offense, and he was saying, woe unto the person that brings the offense, and he's saying how it's better for someone to have a millstone tied around their neck and thrown in the sea than to offend one of these little ones. Oof. And I mean, that does refer to new converts in church for sure. But I mean, I also think it refers to young kids because they're reaching and they're learning and they want to grow. If you offend one of those little ones, that's gonna make that can make a life impact on them.
Well, and so many times, like people, when and we're not gonna get into psychology or anything, but when people are talking about, why they don't go to church or why whatever. It's most often it's a childhood experience. Yeah. And so, man, don't let that be on me, because I had some kind of negative outlook or I wasn't nice. And I'm guilty of getting so busy, and everything. And in all of this, I'm not saying, there's kids that, they just are needy. They want a lot of attention. And I'm not saying we got to get bogged down and spend a lot of our time, and not get anything done, when every kid, like if I'm on stage, there's kids raise their hand all the time. And I'm like, I got to ignore them, because otherwise we won't get through the lesson. So things like that. But being conscientious and being kind, And then on the flip side is sometimes small little encouraging words, and this goes back to like the we don't notice, can make a huge impact. I think on a podcast with you, actually, I think I talked about this, but I'll just mention it again. Back when I was school administrator, there was a boy in school that I encouraged him. I was like, I basically told him, I think you have potential. I think that you could, and it, night and day, it like I was amazed at the impact that my words had on his behavior. It was just incredible.
Oh man.
But going back to this is what we do, you don't always get to see that. Yeah. Right? So sometimes you say something like that and it doesn't seem like it does anything. But then you might find out years later that it affected them hugely, Because people, like I'm kind of one of those people, you don't always know. Like they might have a blank look on their face, you don't always know. Yeah. This reminds me, off topic a little bit, but years ago we did a play for youth, Letter from Hell.
Oh boy.
The first time we did it. Yeah. And I remember It's it's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
It's an audio. You can look it up, but we did it as a full on play. And I remember it was like in a really serious part, and I heard somebody laugh, like kind of just like a huh, laugh.
Yeah.
And I was a little aggravated. I was like, what in the world? This is supposed to be serious. I mean, there was people crying.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it was a good play. We had altar service, prayed till like midnight.
Oh, wow.
And it was really powerful. Well, I found out later that person that I thought had laughed, it was actually Talia, calling her out. She wasn't laughing. She was crying, and it like her high pitch went up, and I thought it was a laugh, but she was crying.
Oh, man.
So, but anyway, so yeah, sometimes we don't know like the little things that we're doing that can make a huge impact.
Yeah.
And then also, I keep on coming back to this. This is what we do. The consistency makes a huge difference, because that's how we get through to kids sometimes.
Yeah.
We talk about in leadership, like about the time you're sick of saying it, somebody finally realizes you said it. It's the same thing with kids, maybe even more so. But with kids, it's also like, like telling them, Jesus loves you. Like we tell them in the altar, like Jesus loves you. And then telling them again and again and again, them finally realizing, oh, Jesus loves me.
Yeah.
And it's like finally gets through to them. And so the same thing with our actions, our consistency in our actions, where they are like, okay, this is how you be a Christian.
Yeah. And really, it all comes down to what you are partaking in for what you're going to bring forth. And so
good.
if you're, and not to say, we're all going to mess up. We're all going to have our times where maybe we didn't set the example we should have.
Yes.
But, for the most part, if you have an input of prayer, consistent prayer, an input of studying God's word, an input of wanting to do the things of God, of listening to the man of God, coming to church.
Yes.
You're naturally, because of that, the Bible talks about bearing fruit. You're naturally going to.
Yes.
It's not something you have to just per se think about all the time, like, oh man,
right.
But you're going to be naturally living out that example you need to, because your input is good, and so your output is also going to be good.
It's going to be your second nature. Yeah. It's going to be your reflex. Yeah. It's like when you train in, say, martial arts or something, or boxing, or even just some kind of sport. When you train, and it becomes a natural reflex because of what you're doing, what you're practicing, quote unquote practicing.
And that, even with that example, is because you've trained yourself through that period of time. There's probably things you do naturally that you don't even think about anymore.
You don't even think about it.
So you're just doing it, and then you see someone copy you, and you're like, oh, I forgot I even do that. Wow.
Yes.
So I think that applies with this.
And that's our third point. It leads right into this, is lead with intentional self-awareness.
Yeah.
And so like is self-evaluate. Ask, if a child copied my tone, priorities, and reactions this week, would I be proud of that?
Oh, man.
So, talking about that, like have you noticed, because you play drums and you also teach drums, have you noticed in teaching, like trying to break it down, that you have to go back sometimes and like, how do I do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so it's because you practice rudiments and various roles, and then you play so much that it's like, oh, that was cool. What I just did was cool, but now how did I do that?
How do I count that again?
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Yeah. And so that's how it should be, is exactly what you just said, is if we are inputting the Word of God, and we're being prayerful and mindful and intentional, then it should just be second nature. It should just be a reflex, not something that we should always be working on it, but not something that we have to so consciously do I steal that or not? I mean, it shouldn't be a battle that might be a battle we have to do at some point in our growth journey, but it shouldn't be an everyday thing.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Shouldn't still be struggling with that.
Oh man, no, that's so good.
So here, I wrote this one down. This is for me because I struggle with this one. But be present in the moment. So when a kid is speaking, listen fully, and when you're serving, like I say serve as like a ministry, like on Sunday, do it wholeheartedly. I don't have an issue with that, but sometimes I get busy, and it's easy to brush things off. Mm-hmm. But when you are fully engaged, they feel it. Oh yeah, kids can feel it, and they see it. And they feel heard and they feel listened to.
It's funny that you say you struggle with that because, in my opinion, from what I've seen, because, especially, in my younger years and stuff, mm-hmm. I always remembered you for being one of the best listeners. And I tell people, I'd say, I like talking to Brother Gabe because I actually feel like what I'm saying is important. Yeah, I've told people that. So it's funny you mentioned that deal, and it really does, coming from being on the other side of that, it does make an impact. And so it's like, mm-hmm. hey, I feel like there's some trust there. Like, I can talk to Brother Gabe about this because he'll actually set aside time to listen to what I'm saying. He's looking at me while I'm talking. He's not on his phone. He's not scanning the room while I'm he's actually interested. And so that, that's made an impact in my life. And so
that's funny. Yeah.
It's a challenge to me. Like, all right, how can I do that for somebody else when they've got something, they're trying to talk to me? How can I show them that what they're saying is important to me? Yeah. Being aware, like you said.
And the thing is to be like, being and the other note I have is living consistently on and off the stage, which we kind of talked about that a little bit, but I've thought about this before. I'm going to back up a little bit. There's things that people talk about, like when somebody walks in the room and they have this air about them where people are like, who is that? They're like a leader, or strong or whatever. And people are like, and so that's attractive. Like, I want to be like that or whatever, it's attractive probably more for like an ego thing, which is, I'm not saying it's terrible. Ego is not necessarily bad. It's bad when it's abused. But there's also when you like, I guess a couple of things. Get over yourself. People don't think about you very much. But you can be characterized by when people do think about you, there's like a split second of what comes to mind, right?
That's powerful.
And so when something split second comes to mind, I'll call out Brother Phil Booker. He was just here. So when Brother Phil Booker comes to mind, or any of the Bookers for that matter, they are so kind. Oh yeah. I got a chance to talk a lot with Brother Joel Booker when I was down in California recently. I had a few minutes conversation with him. So kind. Oh, man. And then Elder Booker was there too, and they are just like at their core. It's like at the root of who they are. And so, I don't spend my time thinking about them, but when I think that name, that's what comes to the forefront. Yeah. And so if we think about that, what is it that comes to the forefront when people think my name? Ooh. And that's a scary thought sometimes. Is what do they think of? Do they think of, Brother Baker rushing around doing something? And so what is it that they think of? And so that's the example that we can leave. And when I say all of this, it's not just about, I think it's important, but it's not just about reputation. Yeah. It's not just about, it's not even just about being a good example for the good example's sake. But the title of this podcast is Unnoticed Influence. Mm-hmm. Keyword influence. The reason to set a good example is to influence, is to make an impact. And so when I sorry, Brother Booker, but when I think of Brother Booker and that kindness, that influences me and inspires me to want to be kinder.
Oh yeah, man! If I can add to that,
yes, absolutely.
With the whole Brother Booker thing,
yeah,
we're just gonna load him up today.
We're picking on you, Brother Booker.
It was funny. A couple years ago at Peak, the WPF Peak conference, my brother and I went, and I was, I don't know, maybe 15 years old.
Okay.
And pastor allowed me to go to their minister session they had there with my brother.
Yeah.
So we got into the building and we were running a little bit late. Which is typical for us creatures. So when you think creature, that's fortunately us synonymous with late. But so we're running late, and we get to like the front desk, and there's Brother Joel Booker there, and someone else as well. I can't remember. And we didn't really know where to go, what to do. We just knew we were supposed to come to this minister's thing. And I mean, he treated us like royalty. He didn't even know who we were.
Wow.
And he probably wouldn't even remember this today. But he treated us like royalty. He said, oh, yeah, you need to go to this room and all that. And he, asked us how we were doing, how our day. I mean, that probably made more of an impact. I mean, it just made an incredible impact. I was like, wow, I think he might have been preaching Peak that year. And he just took time to see how we were doing, that made an impact, and I won't forget that. So, but yeah, your name, when people think of your name, what comes up is
that's such a great example for this podcast, actually, because that's, like you said, he probably doesn't even remember.
It was probably my only encounter with him.
Yeah,
but that encounter made an impact,
all the difference, because that's just who he is. That's what he does. That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. Well, just a quick recap on this as we wrap up here is you're always leading, even when you don't know it. You're always leading, even when you don't know it. So just create those habits and just be that way. Be intentional about it. And so your impact can be good or bad. I want my impact to be good.
Yeah. And
then lead with intentional self-awareness. Think about, how am I and how am I perceived? Because it does matter. Like, some people might say, well, that's not what I was thinking. Well, but everybody else from your face thought that's what you were thinking. So it is your responsibility to change your face. It's so yeah.
That's so good.
All right. Well, a few podcasts. We'll just hit these really quick. Of course, if you want to see this, if you're listening, you want to see this, we're on YouTube. I think that's where most of our listeners are. Kidmin Backstage, if you do a search, or the channel name is @Gabe-Baker. And then we just talked about Brother Booker. He has an awesome podcast, Apostolic Children's Ministry 2.0.
2.0.
And so that one's a very good podcast. Also, Apostolic Children's Network with Brother Chris Bradshaw and Sister Bradshaw, and sometimes his kids are on there. It's really cool. Growing Up with Papa. This is with Brother Jason Ashley in Louisiana. That's a really good one. Sunday School Minute with Brother Eric Stender. So that's a good one. It's usually a shorter one. It's a quick podcast. And then Brother James Pelletier has two of them, Truism and Sunday School Junkie. And so those are some really cool podcasts.
I'll check those out.
Yeah, we'll have to check them out. All right, well, with that, I think that's a wrap.
There we go.